Hello everybody and welcome to Tide Guy. I would like to ask everybody to please hit the like button. That way it gets suggested more and more people can see my video. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. Today I just want to talk a little bit, everybody's talking about college realignment. And I really think stuff is going on, and that's because you're not really hearing nothing. So that usually tells you that when you're not hearing noise that something is happening. I know Oregon sent representatives to talk to the Big Ten. From what I'm hearing, it was Phil Knight's attorneys in that, and it will take some time. I don't know if you're going to hear anything in the next 3 or 4 weeks, but I do think you will hear something during the season. I do believe, if you look at the numbers, the Pac-12 is actually better with USC and UCLA gone, is still better than the Big 12 with their 12 teams. So if the Pac-12 could hold on to Washington, Oregon, and them for a little while, I don't think they're going to get that terrible of a contract. I really don't, because the Big 10 got rid of ESPN. So ESPN needs the after dark games. So I do believe that ESPN needing the content, that they will offer the Pac-12 decent money. Now, if the Pac-12 goes to the Big Ten, the 4 teams, well, obviously then ESPN will get a piece of that, because CBS and NBC, they're not going to show a late night game. Fox really is not going to show the late night game, so that they will then turn to ESPN and make more money, obviously, by an agreement. But I think ESPN would like to keep those games to themselves and not run the risk of, you know, losing Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, and Colorado to the Big 12, because the Big 12 contract's up in another, what, 2 years, 3 years, 2025. So they're going to be negotiating their contract really soon, and I don't think Fox is really going to bid that much on it, because with the big deal that they got with the Big Ten now, they're kind of full. They really are. And so, you know, Fox also has, CBS also has the Mountain West. So, you know, they're not going to be able to get in on it. So ESPN is going to have to make a decision. Do they offer a whole bunch of money to the Big 12 and let some of the Pac-12 schools move over, or do they pay the Pac-12 a decent amount of money and keep it together? And unfortunately, it's not going to be a long-term solve, because eventually the SEC and the Big 10 will expand again. And I mean, obviously, ESPN's not going to pay the Pac-12 anywhere near what the Big 10 or the SEC would get, but they might give them enough money to buy them, 5, 6, maybe 7 years, and try to wait until the ACC is a little bit more manageable to break up that grant of rights where it's not as costly. So I do think we're in a wait and see. I think it all right now depends on what the Pac-12 offer is from ESPN, and I also think, how soon does the Big Ten want to go to 20? Now, if they want to go to 20 right away, then yeah, they're going to offer Washington, Stanford, Cal a chance to come over. And I know a lot of people are also saying, well, you know, Stanford and Cal, what do they really bring? But if you look at the numbers, Stanford is a real good get. Not only market size, academics is tops. I know football-wise, a lot of people say, well, they don't play that great of football, and they really haven't been, but maybe 1 or 2 years after Harbaugh left. But you got to stop and think. Stanford is one of the few teams that win national championships on a regular basis. In fact, they've won one every year since 1976 in Olympic sports. So they're good in athletics, and it would help the Big Ten. And like I said, also the academics there, which is what the Big Ten stands for, you know, they're a great fit, and so is Cal. Washington. Oregon State, believe it or not, is not as high. Now, they're better in football than those other three, most people think, although I think Washington has a better track record. But Oregon's academics is not as high. And the Big Ten also, you know, if they grab those four, then what happens if Notre Dame comes and they got to go to 21, you know, and how many teams do they want out of the ACC? Because, I mean, there's still some markets in the ACC that would benefit them better than some of the Pac-12. So, unfortunately, I see this as a waiting game. I know every day out there is 30, 40 different videos on why this conference is dead, why this team is moving, why that team is moving. I can show you numbers that'll say that this is the best team, and somebody else can show you numbers that that is the best team. I mean, there's numbers being thrown around by a lot of different people. But I do think it's going to be a little bit of a waiting game. I could be wrong. Maybe the Big Ten does decide that, okay, we'll bring Oregon, we'll bring Washington over when USC and UCLA come. I know it would help them on travel expenses, but I've also heard that USC is not that fond to bring in Oregon. They don't want to share the recruits with Oregon anymore. And so, you know, that's something to think about. And I guess like everybody else, we're all just sitting in a waiting game, wondering when this will all happen. And I do know the SEC, they're a little bit more stuck because the SEC is looking at Clemson, North Carolina, Florida State, and Virginia. There's no way you're going to get them out of the grant of rights right now without spending way too much money. That it wouldn't be financial a big benefit for them right away, because they would have to put out hundreds of millions of dollars. It's not. What you think? Tell me, you know, who you think will move first? You know, entertain more schools. Will the Big Ten end up breaking up the Pac-12, which I've heard they don't want to do? Who do you think? Big Ten. Who would you like to see? You know, maybe go to the Big 12. Obviously, who would you like to see in the SEC? Does the ACC stay together till at least 2030? Or do 8 schools get together and say, okay, guys, let's just go right now? And, you know, that's another option that's out there. So, but I hope everybody has a great day. Like I said, leave comments and roll Tide.